Welcome back. It is Thursday, May 18th, and the MLB. Our two favorite picks are on the way. I'm Austin, joined by Logan. Let's recap yesterday. Another 2-1 winning day. We'll take it. Mets money line, an absolute no sweat bet. You didn't even have to worry about that one. Then we have the Diamondbacks and Athletics under 9.5. They get it done early on in the slate. Obviously, the Mets was a little sweaty. Shout out Polar Bear Pete Alonso for the walk-off homer. And then the Mariners and Boston Red Sox Nerfy did not hit. Look, shout out Marco Gonzalez for selling our Nerfy. And it also sold our parlay of the day because that was the one leg of the parlay. We took an alt under there, and he gave up like 8 earned runs in 2 innings. That's never going to hit. But we have another parlay of the day at the top, link in the description. And if you are in Ontario, Canada, we've talked about this before, but PointsBet is live in your area. They've been live in your area for a while, but if you want to check out the offer that we have, it's down below in the description. Now, one last note before we get into today's video. It's my wife's birthday today, so show her some love in the comments. We appreciate all you guys. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, drop a like too. Logan, you had a great call yesterday. A lot of people didn't like it. The Mets came through for you. What you got for the people today?
That game was absolutely electric. I haven't yelled at a baseball game in a long time, and shout out again Pete Alonso for that one. For any of you who don't know, I was wearing the Florida Gators shirt on the stream yesterday. I was channeling some inner Polar Pete energy, and I actually had a class with him at the University of Florida. He sat like in a row next to me, so I don't know him personally, but I have interacted with him before. So that's the magic there. But let's hopefully continue that momentum today. Hopefully this one isn't that sweaty. But we're going to the Dodgers versus Cardinals game. I'm taking the under 8.5 total runs in this one. Minus 110 odds on BetMGM is currently your best value in this one. Now the line opened at 9. But I still see a large public percentage on the over, yet it dropped to 8.5 in this one. So just kind of, doing some line reading on this one, I do find that a little bit, interesting. When you see these two teams, you immediately think offense. But I think defense as well, too, because, you've got just tremendous infield defenders like Nolan Arenado playing third base. He always comes to mind because every time I'm watching a Cardinals game, I'm always looking at him saying, wow, he saves a lot of runs over playing the hot corner. And definitely Nolan Arenado, one of the players I like on my end if I'm picking an under, right? Adam Wainwright starts for the Cardinals now, 7.2 ERA, 1.7 WHIP. Not exactly the numbers I want to see when I'm picking an under, but I think this is kind of baiting you a little bit over into thinking Wainwright's just absolutely going to host batting practice like Marco Gonzalez did yesterday. What a trash performance from him. But we're not talking about Marco. We're talking about Adam Wainwright. And Waino, 4 earned runs and back-to-back starts. If the K numbers aren't going to be there, then hopefully Wainwright is relying on his defense for ground balls or in a pitch contact role. Why do I say this? Well, because Adam Wainwright is a savvy veteran pitcher, right? He is definitely not a rookie. He's the furthest thing from it. And when these savvy vets just aren't getting the swing and miss strikeouts, they're hopefully savvy enough to get the soft contact ground ball outs, which is definitely something Wainwright we've seen in his arsenal before. Because he wasn't getting the strikeouts in his last start. And I think this is kind of how he's going to plan to attack this Dodgers hitters, right? The Dodgers hitters versus Wainwright, some of them have decent splits, right? Freeman 300, Mookie Betts 308. That does, obviously scare me. But you know what? Base hits aren't going to be the death of us. It's going to be the extra base hits. Dodgers 13th in batting average versus righties at hitting 245 versus them. That's not catastrophic, right? The base hits can come. The home runs and the catastrophic innings, like I just mentioned with the extra base hits, those can't come, right? Wainwright, you have to limit that today. But pitching at home in a more pitcher-friendly ballpark should benefit Adam Wainwright today. I am trusting him to go out and not give up 5-6 earned run type game. As long as he's able to limit the damage a little bit, he's not going to hold them scoreless. But if he's able to, limit the damage, we stand a good chance. Now take us, the rest of the way with Julio Urias, right? He's starting for the Dodgers, 3.61 ERA, 1.07 WHIP for Urias. He's been decent in his last 3 starts. Look at these: 3, 8, and 1 hits allowed, 2, 2, and 1 earned runs. So even with that one game where he allowed 8 hits, only 2 earned runs. So he is limiting the damage in there. Again, base hits aren't the death of you. As if they don't convert those base hits into runs, that's fine for an under, right? It's never fun picking an under, by the way. I hate it. But, at the end of the day, St. Louis, 14th in batting average, 17th in OPS versus lefties. That tells me to pick an under, right? Because they're just about average in hitting versus lefties. And after the 18-run outburst at home, the game I picked the Cardinals in, they're only hitting 227 in their last 2 home games. So they've really cooled down, came crashing back down to earth. I think Urias will be able to actually put up a solid showing against them today. St. Louis, 9th in bullpen ERA. Dodgers, 20th in bullpen ERA. Obviously, the Dodgers are better than 20th, right? They'll be better as the year goes on. But the Cardinals and Dodgers, those are, for the most part, those are two bullpens I can trust. There are a few characters in there that I don't want to see come trotting out of the bullpen, but that's all right. It's going to be a little bit sweaty, probably like Austin's under pick. And I'd love to see close to 6 innings pitched from each of these starters. Probably won't get it because that's not how this works. But that would be really cool if we did. I do like the under in the Dodgers versus Cardinals game as my first pick. Austin, I want another winner. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to a first five pick here today. If you took my first five under yesterday, congrats, you get a no sweat. Well, I took the full game under. The first five under was an absolute no sweat. There was only 1 run scored in the first five yesterday. And then they scored a ton of runs in that bullpen. But today we're just going to go to a first five pick in the Guardians White Sox game. And I'm taking the Guardians plus a half in the first five, minus 114 on FanDuel. Now, if you are on FanDuel, want to make sure you get that plus 0.5. You don't want to take the first five result. That you're going to see that's Guardians big time value. And you also don't want Guardians money line because you're going to get this plus a half. Not only can the Guardians win the first five, which would be awesome. If it's a tie, we win too, which is why we like these two pathways to victory. Now, if you so far this series, and I actually think the Guardians got a good chance at winning this game outright, but the Guardians have lost both games this series. People are starting to trust the White Sox. No, that's not how the White Sox work. You can't trust them. No one can be on them for them to perform. And they have their ace starting, Dylan Cease. And if you look so far, you take a step back at the first 2 games of the series with Shane Bieber on the mound. Well, the Guardians lost the first 5, 6-0. All 6 runs came in the bottom of the 5th. That would be catastrophic for us today. Now, yesterday, you saw the Guardians lose the first 5, 5-1. So today we got them on a pick 'em, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense with Dylan Cease, the White Sox so-called ace on the mound. And so I think the White Sox are going to be or the Guardians are going to be able to get to Dylan Cease and put up some runs there. Now, the Guardians, for what it is worth, never been swept all season long, so they have not lost all 3 games against the same team this season. So I think they're going to come out here pretty aggressive, try to get some base runners, and try to get up on Cease. Cease is the guy that we've talked about. I think he averages the most pitches per inning in the MLB out of qualified pitchers. This is the guy that is struggling and get those put-away pitches, and this is the Guardians team that doesn't like to strike out a whole lot. So we could see him walk some guys. We've seen him have some starts with 2, 3, 4, 5 walks before this season, and I think they'll be able to get a little bit onto Cease, and he's coming off his best start of the season. 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs versus the Astros. I think people are going to expect him to duplicate that, but prior to that, you saw him give up 3, 6, 4, and 7 earned runs. So he has the potential to make this a no sweat bet in our direction. Even if he's out there dialing in, we still think we have a chance because it could tie at 0-0 and we still would win. Now, you look at the Guardians' 80 plate appearances versus Dylan Cease, only a 17.5 K percentage and a 275 batting average. So they've seen him a lot. They kind of know the pitches he's coming with, and he hasn't really had the same command he had all of last year. Now, hopefully we can get up on Cease, but we're going to need also a decent showing from Logan Allen, who will start for the Guardians, or at least that's who's expected to start. Now, the White Sox, for what it's worth, never seen Allen before. He's a younger pitcher, so that should bode well for us. Normally the pitcher who they've never seen before, doesn't have a lot of film on, should have the advantage for the first, at bat or two, which could get us through 5 innings. And then maybe Allen explodes in the 6th and just gives up a ton of runs there, which is fine with us. But Allen coming in here with a 3.43 ERA, pretty decent. A 1.48 whip, not great. He's due a little bit of regression, but it's a White Sox team. We've seen them get bases loaded before and not be able to score. We've seen them really struggle through some games. I mean, there's a reason no one wanted to trust them prior to probably today when they're like, all right, well, they've beaten the Guardians twice in a row. I might as well run it back. I think the Guardians got a chance here with Logan Allen. And worst case scenario is if the Guardians don't win the first 5, lose it, and then come back and win it outright, which was my next lean. But I think that we're going to see them have to get up on Dylan Cease. I know with this Guardians offense, if it doesn't get started early, it's never getting started. So I think they get up some runs on Dylan Cease. We're just asking Logan Allen to kind of just manage the damage. Don't give up, 5 earned runs. If he maybe gives up 1, 2, or 3, which he gave up in his last start, then I think we got a chance here, man. He gave up 3 earned runs. Think he bounces back a little bit here. And I think we see the Guardians get a couple runs up on Cease. And hopefully that is enough to get it done. So I'm going to go against the grain. I know a lot of people, first 5 pick, they just see an ace. They just want to hammer that. But like I said, plus a half, a lot more advantageous than the minus a half because of that tie, because of the potential for them to win the first 5, gives a better chance at hitting. So we'll take our odds at that one. We'll take Guardians plus a half as our first 5. Now, normally I'll put the music on because we love Nerfy Nation, but we don't really have one today. It's a short slate. Logan, do you have any that you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Yeah, I do want to kind of mention, we're going to probably have a lot of comments about if you were to pick a Nerfy, what would it be, right? Because it's a short slate. I really don't want to force one. A strong lean we considered was the Yankees versus Blue Jays Nerfy, But to me, that would be a forced play. Why? Because there's just some like danger signs in that one. The over/under went up to 9, despite them, scoring pretty much just being shut out through 9 innings last night. The over/under went up to 9, as I mentioned. And Barrios and Cortez are pitching today, and they're both pitchers susceptible to the extra base hit. We saw what happened last time with Nestor Cortez on the mound. Rays hosted batting practice on him. And Barrios he's way too erratic for me to pick a no-run first inning with him. So I think those are both nerfy killer signs. I'm not going to pick this one just because it just doesn't feel right. If you picked it, though, I wouldn't call you crazy. It's just not going to be a nerfy nation play. We need to be more responsible with our spots in that. So if you want to do it, you can go for it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of games on. We don't want to force out a nerfy pick. Just kind of close our eyes and just throw a dart, because that's honestly sometimes what it is. It does feel like, in terms of the bigger slates, because it still requires a lot of luck. But when you're reducing the games, there's not one that we really feel like. Plus, that Yankees Blue Jays series is most definitely due a yes run first inning. So no nerfy today. Just throw 2 plays: Guardians +0.5. And we're talking about the Logans pick. He's got the Dodgers Cardinals under 8.5 runs +100. So let's have a great day. Let's go 2-0. Let's have another winning day, and we'll be back again tomorrow on Friday for some more picks. Again, if you're in Ontario, check out that PointsBet offer down below at the top of the description. Check out our parlay of the day, which I'll actually put up on the screen right now. Let's have a good 2-0 day. We'll see you guys back again on Friday. Peace.